Hi guys, we're back with another video, another sit down video, because I feel like things have been quite busy lately. I just really wanted to sit down and just, I don't know, do my makeup, talk about things that I like as a way to kind of like de-stress. So there are like a lot of exciting things coming and things that I've been like working on that I'm really excited to launch. More on that later, but I wanted to kind of do a different type of video because I haven't done a beauty video in a while and just talk about kind of like the things that I have been reaching for. Some of like my beauty favorites. Some of these are new to the not new, some of these are like new-ish to the collection, and some of these are things that I've had for a bit, but I'm like now like rediscovering like why I like them so much. I'm gonna head out to lunch soon, so I figured this was like the perfect time to do this kind of video. Okay, the first thing I feel like I was kind of late to the game on. I've always been a Danessa Myricks fan, but this is a blurring powder, or this is her Yummy Skin Universal Blurring Balm Powder, and it's got this thing called Upsolite. I'm actually not, there's something about how it kind of like sucks up the oil, and so I've been using this as a primer, but I already have sunscreen on that's kind of like a primer, so whenever I already do have some sort of primer on, I actually like this for like my T-zone because I get really oily around here, and I feel like I talk about that a lot, but you know, it's true. So I will just only put this on the places that I get very oily on. So by the end of the day, I don't look like a little disco ball. Oh, I'm just realizing I'm very pink and purple today. Another thing I've also been enjoying, a lot of times when you see a foundation that I have, I usually have two colors because I do my own custom mix because I feel like your skin tends to change a little bit. Like I think people have like their summer color, their winter color, and which is what I do have, but then as like the months go on, I tend to like add like a little droplet of like a darker color to the lighter color just so I get like my perfect match, which is, I don't think it's uncommon, but I think it's very much a like maybe like a makeup artist type thing. Not that I'm calling myself one. Anyway, so this is the Dolce & Gabbana Hydra Glow and Fresh Skin Tint. And I've been really into skin tints for the last, I would say like few years, because I don't love a heavy foundation. I talk about this a lot, so this is probably repetitive for some of you guys, but I don't love a heavy foundation because I just feel like my skin is good enough that I don't really need it. And it's not like I'm doing like photo shoots or crazy events. When I do have like events where I do need things to last a little longer, I will throw on like a heavier or coverage, but I never go past like medium coverage. So I just do like a little mix here. And because this is daytime and this is a skin tint, I'm honestly just going to apply with my fingers because it's not a big deal. So I think is that a good color? But yeah, I feel like I really don't need a skin tint, especially because it's still summer and it's not as warm. Lately it's been kind of like meh in Philly, but it's because I'm also filming for my other project that's coming out soon. So I want a little bit more coverage because I will be filming, but and also will be going to lunch. So just a little something. I should have put my hair up. Why did I not put my hair up? This is becoming an issue. My favorite thing about this is honestly how it looks as the day goes on. So I feel like it just creates such a nice base. I have been getting really into bronzer, and I have liked these two products from Makeup by Mario. This is the bronzing serum, and then this one is just the skin enhancer. This is like a lighter version of that, so if I'm doing like no makeup, I will use this and call it a day, in addition to like, what else will I use? Like maybe a blush and doing like my mascara. That's very much like my chill version of this, but sometimes I will layer the two of them, especially if I want that like long staying power. Like this one lasts, but it's not going to give you a dramatic effect, and I don't think layering it on will do that for you. So I just layer the two together. And this is the Makeup by Mario one. This one was another one that I was pretty late to the game on, but I do understand the hype. And one thing I will say is I love doing my makeup and like trying on new products. I honestly feel like in the last few years, I've realized that we really went through like an overconsumption era in terms of makeup. And I realized that when I was moving to business school and I was going through like the makeup I wanted to bring, and there were just so many options, and I ended up not bringing everything. But the things I did bring like took me 2 carry-on suitcases, and I've talked about this like to friends and like classmates and stuff. And I just remember thinking like, this is insane. And they always say like there's like the lipstick index, right? So we're gonna get a little like nerdy here, but there's this thing called the lipstick index, and essentially it means that in times of economic hardship, there's certain types of companies and stocks that tend to still do well when everything else is kind of doing poorly. And those are like the makeup and cosmetics and skincare, personal care companies. The idea is like, even when things are tough, people still want to look good. They want to feel good. And those personal care items tend to help you do that, especially like lipstick and like eyeshadows, things like that. And the interesting thing is like the last year or so, that index is no longer holding as true. And part of that is because, yes, even though times are tough, there have been so many makeup launches over the last, I don't know, decade probably, that it's getting easier for people to be like, I actually don't need to buy lipstick because I have purchased 20 in the past 10 years and they're still fine. And so those companies aren't like able to weather the storm as much as they used to, which is, I think it's just interesting. And I think it kind of like speaks to that like overconsumption of makeup that we've been seeing. But just a little fun fact. I'll link an article in case you guys want to read more about it, but I read about it. I've been reading about it over the last year, just as these companies come out with like the earnings reports. And it's just so interesting to see how that no longer holds as true because of how the makeup industry has changed. One thing I've been using a lot lately is this Westman Atelier Lit Up highlight stick in Lit. This was, I think, the first one that they ever launched, and probably one of the first purchases I made from Westman Atelier during the pandemic, when I like still wanted to look put together for like Zoom calls and any time I was maybe outdoors, but I didn't want to wear a ton of makeup, which I feel like that became kind of like the new trend. And Lit Up became this, I don't know, this very interesting highlighting formula. It's a cream highlighter, and this one was like a purple iridescent vibe, which that's kind of bold for your first ever highlighter launch. She's come out with different colors now, and I think I have like almost all of the ones that would look good on my skin tone. I have 5 total, which, oof, yikes. But I use them all. And they're all like different undertones. So I just bring this up here. It's just like something different. I feel like, I don't know why I felt this way, but the last month or so, I've just been using this a lot more. I think it's just because I wanted a little something fun. And it's subtle, but it's there. Like, look at that. That's so pretty. Okay, and this is an oldie, but a goodie. And this is the Artist Couture Diamond Bronze Diamond Lights Finisher. And this came out years ago, but this is a very messy product to work with, I'm going to be honest. It's just like a loose eyeshadow glitter. I always kind of like swirl my fingers a bit in the cap where there's a little bit of product. And so you end up with like this much product on your fingers, and then I just tap it. It's not precise at all, but I always talk about how the skin to skin contact with your eyeshadow, especially if it's glittery, will give you just this like very nice finish. Like, it just looks like it's melting on your eyes, and not too much because it's daytime. It's so beautiful, and then when the light hits it, it glistens. Oh my gosh, I got carried away. I've also been really enjoying this ColourPop lippy pencil in the shade Chain React. I've talked about another shade of this lip liner on this channel before called K. It was a limited edition color, and I bought like 8 lip liners when I realized that ColourPop had no intention of bringing it back. So I've been using that for the last over 8 years. And I got really stressed because I'm down to my last one and I have like this much left. So I knew that within a month or within a few months, I would need to replace it. And so I went on this crazy journey to find a replacement, and I couldn't find anything. I've been like searching the ColourPop website, nothing, nada, zilch. And I like knew of a few colors that people were obsessed with on like Makeup by Mario and another brand, Lisa Eldridge, but those were kind of expensive. They were 3 or 4 times more than what I originally paid for ColourPop, because these are kind of like drugstore prices. And I bit the bullet because I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the perfect lip liner. And so I thought I found a good color match. Wasn't quite the case. And then something told me, check ColourPop's website again. Just do it. You won't regret it. Just do it. And I did. And they had this color and I ordered it, and it's not a perfect match. I would say it's like 95% of a match, which good enough for me. I was ready to settle for like 85% match. Well, it worked out. And then I did a bulk order, which I think arrives today. So I'll be set for the next 8 years just in case ColourPop tries to do the same thing again and discontinue this color. But I've been using this so much now. And then speaking of lip colors, I've really been into, ever since I went to Korea last year and tried out their like blurring liquid lipsticks, I've been obsessed with their formulas, and I haven't been able to find, I don't think American brands are doing it because I just don't think that's like in vogue, that style of lipstick where it's just kind of like a very light, like a fluffy liquid lipstick. It's not bold at all. So I haven't found like an American brand that does that, and that's okay because I had a different Korean brand, and for some reason I don't know how this came on my radar. Maybe it was TikTok, I really don't know, but there are these blur fudge tints from Romand. It's a Korean brand, and I bought a few colors that I'm obsessed with, and I've been wearing them a ton, but I wear them like daily now, so I'm really obsessed, and they stay on really well, so that's why I feel comfortable wearing this to lunch and then filming in it later. But this one is their shade Rosenthal, and so I'll just put it in the, and a lot of it, they don't deposit a lot on the brush. I think that's probably like part of the application. And then I'll take my pinky ring or pinky finger and I will just blur the edges out of it to give that kind of like more of a like a natural look. And depending on how I did the first application, I might put more on the center, but I don't think I need it. But let's just do it for, and that's it. That's gorgeous. Oh, it's such a nice vibe. Very natural. The very last product that I've been getting a lot of use out of is this Charlotte Tilbury. First of all, for some reason, Charlotte Tilbury wasn't really on my radar until like the last couple of years, but now I have a couple of products that I use of hers. This is the Airbrush Flawless Finish. It's a finishing powder. It's not a setting powder, which the difference is, which I learned recently, setting powder is there to like make sure your makeup sets. If you have an oily T-zone, it prevents it from getting oily or as oily as it would without the setting powder. Finishing powder is just like blurring. So it's just, I just add it here. It does have a little bit of coverage because it has a tint to it, but it just adds like a blur. I don't know if you guys can see that. I can see it. You guys can tell I've been breaking out lately, but whatever. It's like a filter, like a natural filter, and so nice. Gorgeous product, and I've been using it so much lately. But yeah, that's everything that I've been really enjoying lately in my makeup collection, and I just keep reaching for. I don't want you guys to think of this as like, oh my gosh, you guys should buy everything, but more as like a reminder to like enjoy what you have, go through your little things, and maybe you'll find products that you haven't really thought about in a while that just start to inspire you to use them, kind of like the purple highlighter that I've been using lately. I'll see you guys with the next video, and I can't wait to share my upcoming news. Love you guys for watching. Bye!